Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're literally rolling up our sleeves to tackle a problem that drives vintage homeowners crazy, getting those stubborn, decades-old windows working like brand new again. If you own an older home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got these beautiful, original wood windows that are absolutely full of character, right? But man, after decades of paint, house settling, and everyday wear and tear, they can become an absolute nightmare to actually operate. Well, don't worry, because we're going to fix that today. It's a tale as old as time for anyone living in a vintage house. You walk up to this gorgeous 1920s double-hung window on a nice breezy afternoon, you go to throw it open, and nothing. No way. It won't budge. You might as well be trying to push a solid brick wall. It is incredibly frustrating. But today, I want you to think of me as your house doctor. We aren't just going to blindly swing a hammer at the problem. Instead, we're going to carefully diagnose exactly why your window is throwing a fit, and then we'll apply the precise cure it needs to get moving again. To get started, listen to how homeowner Paula described her classic 1/1 double-hung window. She said, "It's heavy to operate, it won't stay open without the stick." Now, that specific failure tells us exactly what's broken inside. Paula's window isn't frozen shut. It's practically dropping like a guillotine without a prop stick there to hold it up. That is a really specific symptom, and as you'll see, it requires a very specific treatment. Okay, so here's our quick roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll diagnose the root cause. Second, we'll free those painted shut windows. Third, fix the broken sash cords. And finally, number 4, prevent future jams. Let's dive right in. Section 1. Diagnosing the root cause, paint versus the counterbalance. So before we grab our tools and start tearing into the wood, we need to properly identify the exact symptom your window is suffering from. You're likely facing one of 2 distinct problems here. Let's call the first one Symptom A. The window just won't move at all. Top sash, bottom sash, totally locked in place. The diagnosis? You're fighting a paint seal. Decades of heavy acrylic paint and caulk have essentially glued the window shut. But then we have Symptom B. The window actually moves, but it is incredibly heavy to lift, and it slams right back down the second you let go. The diagnosis for this one, the internal mechanics, what we call the counterbalance system, has failed on you. Now, to really understand Symptom B, we have to look behind the walls. Traditional double-hung windows operate using this brilliant hidden counterbalance system. Inside the wall cavity, right on either side of the window, there are these heavy cast iron or lead weights. And get this, fun fact, these weights can easily weigh 5 to 10 pounds each, just to balance out that heavy old glass. These weights are tied to a thick cotton rope, which runs up over a pulley at the very top of the window frame, and then it attaches right to the side of the window's sash itself. The system is exactly what allows you to effortlessly raise a heavy wood window and have it miraculously stay suspended wherever you leave it. So, when those old ropes rot and snap, the heavy weights just fall to the bottom, the connection is completely lost, and you are left doing all the heavy lifting yourself. Moving on to Section 2, freeing painted shut windows by breaking the seal. Let's say you're dealing with Symptom A. Your window is completely frozen, basically glued into the frame. Now, if you ask around, a lot of folks will tell you to just grab a standard razor knife to cut the paint lines. And sure, while a razor knife can score weak lines, it really struggles against heavy layers of thick paint and caulk. The blade wanders, it bends, and it just can't cut deep enough. Instead, I strongly recommend picking up a specialized sash saw. This thing is a game changer. A sash saw features a thicker grade of spiky metal, usually with replaceable blades. It is specifically designed to slide right into those tight gaps and cut deeply through decades of acrylic paint, using a sawing action. And the best part? It does all this without scarring or damaging the face of your delicate wood sash. Okay, here are the actual steps to free that stubborn sash. First, take your sash saw and cut along all the paint lines on the interior. Now, if the paint is just incredibly thick, giving it a gentle tap with a hammer and a chisel around the edges can also help crack that tough acrylic seal. Next up, you need to pry off the stop beads. Those are the vertical strips holding the window in place. Start super gently with a 5-in-1 painter's tool so you don't gouge the wood, and then switch over to a molding pry bar. Finally, we get to the magic step. You're going to carefully pry that meeting rail apart, right exactly where the top and bottom sashes meet in the middle. Usually there's a massive hidden paint seal there, and when it breaks, often with a really satisfying pop, the sash will finally just tilt right out. Oh, wait, before we put the tools down, I have a massive pro tip for you. Pull any old nails sticking out of the jamb. When you pry off those stop beads, you're almost definitely going to leave behind a few old nails sticking right out of the wood. You absolutely must pull those out. If you leave them in there, they'll act like physical roadblocks, completely blocking the bottom sash from sliding out towards you. Oh, and while you're at it, don't forget to break the paint seal from underneath the very bottom of the sash on the exterior side, too. All right, section 3, fixing broken sash cords and restoring that counterbalance. This is where we tackle symptom B, when your window is finally free from its paint prison, but the ropes have snapped. So once you've removed the sash, look down at the lower side of the window jamb. You're going to find a small little access door. Unscrew it, reach right inside that wall cavity, and pull out those heavy fallen weights we talked about earlier. Next, take a new piece of sturdy cotton line, feed it directly down through the pulley hole at the top, and tie it securely to your weight. Pull the weight up so it's suspended, and cut the line to length. Now, look at the side edge of your actual window sash. You'll see a groove running down it. That groove is called a dado, and it ends in a circular hole. Push the new rope into that dado, tie a knot at the bottom so it sits in the hole. And here's a super clever trick. Drive a small nail right through the dead center of that knot into the wood. That ensures the rope will absolutely never slip out on you. Once it's all attached, you just push the window back into the opening. Which brings us to section 4, preventing future window jams for smooth operations. Now that you've successfully freed the window and restored its mechanics, the absolutely crucial next step is making sure it never ever sticks again. Preventative maintenance is everything here. You want bare, smooth wood gliding against bare, smooth wood. So you need to aggressively scrape or sand out all the old paint from the runners and from the edges of the actual window sash itself while you have it out of the frame. Make sure to completely clear out those parting beads too. And hey, if you hear a loud metal-on-metal squeak when you give those newly re-roped windows a test run, don't panic at all. Just grab some silicone spray, give those antique pulleys a quick blast, and they will glide silently for years to come. You know, restoring old double-hung windows is just incredibly satisfying because you're literally bringing a brilliant piece of historic engineering back to life. With the right diagnosis and just a little bit of elbow grease, there is absolutely no paint seal too tough and no sash cord too broken for you to handle. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden mechanics in your vintage home are just sitting there right now, waiting to be rediscovered and restored? Keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, thank you so much for joining me in this explainer.